lot of times people ask me, what is kinesiology? And I always say, it's the study of movement. And when you think about movement, it's so important for our health. Just like eating is important for our health, sleep is important for our health. And those are important aspects under the frame or the paradigm of public health. So it makes sense to have a Department of Kinesiology within a school of public health.
It intersects with every discipline within public health. Everything from the environmental influences, we study how environment influences physical activity and how physical activity influences the environment. Exercise and physical activity impact human health in all systems of the body, from the brain all the way to your peripheral nervous system and your cardiovascular system.
You could take any of the chronic diseases, heart disease for example, and we could do a research all the way from a human down to the mechanisms on a bench to bedside kind of a model. Our department allows a lot of these collaborative network to form. So that is the biggest strength of this department.
The Department of Kinesiology has multiple units, and for example, the unit that I sit in is physical cultural studies. And with physical cultural studies, we really look at the spaces, the bodies within those spaces, and basically some of the social and the political implications of the bodies as well as the spaces, and how there may be equitable or inequitable opportunities to move.
I'm currently taking a class with Dr. Roberts, which is related to zip code and physical activity around the world. Her way of teaching is amazing. She's been teaching us about the history between neighborhoods and history of segregation, that kind of stuff that apply to aspects that we wouldn't think about as to why people are being able to do certain physical activities.
The University of Maryland is one of the only schools in the country that offers the Master's of Public Health with an emphasis in physical activity. There's lots of people doing research that pique my interest. The DMV is a great area. There's so many nonprofit, for-profit, and government organizations that you can get connected with. So it kind of seemed like the perfect hub for me.
So we have funding from the National Institutes of Health, the National Institute on Aging, to look at an exercise intervention and how an exercise program in older adults who have a genetic risk for Alzheimer's disease may impact their brain function. We have them go through a 6-month exercise intervention. I have students from the School of Public Health and the Department of Kinesiology, and they actually supervise these exercise classes.
My research focuses on 2 parts. One is women's health. So I look at how postmenopausal females, the transition between the hormones, estrogen, progesterone, follicle-stimulating hormone, affects the vascular function or the cardiovascular or their arteries, if you may, and that might predispose them to high blood pressure or hypertension. The other side of research, more recently it has evolved, is with the Department of Psychology, where we study how does stress and think about racism and structural institutional racism affect that daily stressor in Black individuals, and how does that relate to their arteries or physiology or their health in general.
The mentoring that happens in the Department of Kinesiology is the reason why students are successful